Hello and welcome again to our reading of Mark's Gospel. We're up to chapter 13. So we'll begin with the genitive absolute, and this is Jesus, of course. And when he had gone out from the temple, one of his disciples, we're not told which, says to him, didascally, imperative, so vocative I should say, teacher, ide, see. Potapoi is literally what sort of stones and what sort of buildings, but in the sense of what big stones and what big buildings, what massive, what impressive stones and buildings, oikodomai. This is the noun from oikodomeo, to build. And Jesus said to him, you see all of these great buildings. Do you see all of these great buildings? There will in no way be left, this is from aphiemi again, this is aorist passive subjunctive, it will not be left behind here stone upon stone which will not be pulled down. So there will not be any stone upon a stone which will be left, which will not be pulled down. The grammar is slightly odd here, but that's the expression here. And again, you see that there's a variant reading here. Because it's odd having epi plus the accusative here. You would expect a dative, and that's in some of the manuscripts. When he was sitting down on the Mount of Olives, kat enanti plus the genitive opposite the temple, Peter asked him katidian privately, and James and John and Andrew. These, of course, were the first 4 disciples chosen, and so they obviously form a tight-knit group. Apon, now this is an imperative here. It's from lego, and the normal aorist is apon, but the accent is a circumflex here. You can see by the accent this is slightly different. This is an imperative. What they've done is they've taken the strong aorist stem, ape, and used a weak aorist imperative ending, which normally would be son, but the sigma is gone. So this is a little bit tricky here. This is an imperative. Tell to us. It's an aorist imperative using a weak aorist ending on a strong aorist verb without the sigma. So tell to us when these things will be, and what is the sign whenever these things are about, all these things are about to be fulfilled. And Jesus began to say to them, blepete. Now he often uses blepete as to look or be careful, lest someone might lead you astray. Planao is to wander. It's sort of causative here, might cause you to wander. So take care, or watch out, perhaps, lest someone cause you to wander. Many will come, future of earthomai, in my name, saying, hoti recitative, I am. Well, you have to understand, I am he. It's a suggestive phrase here that I am God, or I am the Messiah or something, but it's just I am. And they will lead astray, they will cause to wander many. But whenever you hear of wars and reports of wars, this is a noun formed from the verb akuo, to hear, so this is reports of wars. May throeste, do not be alarmed. This is from throeomai. It's a contracted middle verb. This is an imperative here with may. Do not be alarmed. It is necessary to take place. So in other words, these wars and rumours of wars must happen, but the end is not yet. Nation will rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be seismoi, earthquakes, in katatopos, probably distributive here. Kata can be used in that sense in various places. And there will be limoi, famines. And these things are a beginning of birth pangs. An odinaire, it's a feminine noun, is a birth pang. So these things are a beginning of the birth pangs. You look to yourselves. Well, it should be se autus perhaps, but it's he autus. It's often used in place of that. So you look, and it's reflexive. So he autus for se autus here. You look to yourselves. They will hand you over, paradidomi, future. They will hand over you to the Sunedria, to the Sanhedrins, these are the Jewish councils, and to the synagogues. Interestingly, two Greek words here that have been given religious meaning and introduced from Greek into Jewish vocabulary, the Sanhedrin and the synagogue. Anyway, so dereiseste, now that is a future passive from dero. Normally you get a theta eta cluster in here to tell you it's passive, and then the sigma tells you it's the future passive. Because you've got a liquid verb row here, that you don't have the theta, and the epsilon in dero, you get a vowel gradation to da. So you will be, and dero of course means to beat, so you will be beaten, and you will be caused to stand perhaps before hegemons, leaders and kings, rulers and kings, on account of me, as a witness to them. And all the nations at first, so if it is necessary for first for the gospel to be proclaimed among all the nations, among all the Gentiles. This whole section is very odd. It's very un-Jesus-like in many ways. Jesus generally doesn't take that much interest in the Gentiles per se, and this is all rather apocalyptic. This seems to be Christians looking back rather than Jesus looking forward. But anyway, I leave that to the commentaries to discuss. So it is necessary for the gospel to be preached to all the Gentiles, first of all. And when they bring you, when they lead you, having handed you over, do not pro merimnate. This is from merimnao, to have a care for, and pro, beforehand. So do not have a care beforehand of what you would say. This is aorist subjunctive, what you will say, but it's a subjunctive form because of the lengthened eta in here. Whatever, that which, if it is given to you in that day, speak this. So the e'an for an, so say this, whatever thing is given, aorist passive subjunctive, to you on that, in that hour, Uga esti humes, for you are not the ones speaking, but the Holy Spirit. Again, this looks very much like later Christians reading back as to what they think Jesus might have said here. Kai paradose, and a brother will betray or hand over brother to death, and father will hand over son, and children will rise up against their parents, and they will put them to death. And you will be hated by all on account of my name, but the one remaining to the end, this one will be saved.